Welcome to the third episode of the Drive to Draw podcast. Once again, joined in the studio by Phil Feckner. Welcome along, Phil.
Thanks, Pete. Good to be back.
How are the bowls coming out at the moment?
A bit scratchy today. Bit of sun, though. It was a bit warm out there. Feel a bit blushed here today. So tonight.
Absolutely. Mate, we've got some games to talk about this week, being that round one sort of starts for Premier League and Division 1, but we might cover a couple of other divisions along the way and see how we're going there. But we've got a couple of teams to finish off from our pre-season preview through the SA Bowls tipping.
Yep.
I did speak with Brad and Liv, and they say that entries are going okay at the moment, but because round one does start this weekend, get your entries in as quickly as possible. Message the SA Bowls tipping website with any information that you have, obviously, for your entry. If you're having any problems with that, obviously shout out to Brad and Liv, or obviously myself. We'll walk you through how to get that done. But, mate, to kick us off, let's get into Around the Greens.
Around the Greens.
All right, mate, let's kick off with Division 1. Let's talk about Payneham. Payneham Division 1.
Should know a bit about this, I suppose, but I don't really.
No, fair enough. Obviously, Alan Hurst providing a little bit of spiel to the SA Bowls tipping website and to us as well.
Quite a few names here. I'm not too, what would you say, haven't heard of before.
Yep.
Rhianne Thompson.
I think that's Josh's partner.
Sorry, yep. Tara Hurst, which is obviously Hursty's daughter.
That's correct.
Say. Yep. Matt Rayson, which would be Candice Rayson's husband, I believe.
Yep.
Vic Pavia. No. The last one's Giovanni. How do we say that?
I'll let you have a crack.
Boccaccio.
Again, we apologise for any pronunciations.
Yeah. I think they call him John, don't they?
Yeah, I think so, yep.
He's come from, obviously, Walkerville, had a year at Walkerville. Yep. Part of the year at Walkerville.
Absolutely. Hursty obviously saying that Chris Swift, you obviously played there last year, had a pretty good year as a new bowler to the club, and the one to watch this year, according to Hursty.
Absolutely. Like, he's as keen as mustard. He's out there, a bit like you were early days.
Yep.
Pete, never saw you off that green. Swifty's the same. He's the barman.
Yep.
And so he's as keen as mustard. I played a fair few tournaments with him. Very promising. Just keep him on track, and he's a good lad too. Yep. So not many outs. I didn't see any outs there, Pete.
We'll wait and see, obviously, for round one selection. But around the traps, you hear that there's a few players that might have moved on. I mean, yourself and Paul are probably the two that I know of after not being in the bowl scene so much last year. But just in talking to you, there are a couple there.
It looks like just having a quick look at their side today, Pete, and there's quite a few out. So I'd say 10 or more.
Yep.
So we'll go with that and see how they go.
Absolutely. Well, anything can happen, and like happens with some of these clubs, opportunity sort of comes on to certain players, and they perform pretty well. So it's going to be an interesting year for Payneham. That we did talk about it a little bit last week. Home ground advantage may actually work in their favour. Yeah,
front green sort of didn't do it for us last year. I've got to admit. Love the
because
front
it was
green.
Slow?
Yeah.
Or slower?
Bit slower, a little bit slower. So we played some of the games out the back and watered it down and got it quicker.
Yep.
And that helped us. But, the front green sort of didn't help us as a home ground advantage. Yep. Nothing against the front green. It's beautiful.
No, it does play well.
But I can see him finishing bottom two, I think, Pete.
Okay. I'm not as bullish on bottom two, but I reckon bottom three, bottom four potentially. But sort of in that mid-range. Yeah. But again, anything can happen in bowls, and we've said it before. So best of luck to Payneham there. Obviously, our old roots, our old club there. We want to see them go really, really well. And best of luck to Hursty there and co. You did mention that Aussie is off for work, which is a little bit of a...
and Josh McDonald, he went to Port Augusta to work. So... they're going to miss him. He's club champion last year at Payneham. So
two very, very good outs there. All right, let's move on to Port Noarlunga. We haven't got too much of a report on Port Noarlunga, but we do know that there's a couple of players that moved from either Lockleys or Marion up to Port Noarlunga. So they've recruited okay, I think, just to complement the team that they had last year. And I believe that Anthony and his partner are back there as well.
Oh, okay.
So sort of getting
Is it
the old...
Moffats?
Yeah, the Moffats, getting the crew back together almost.
Yeah, look, very strong side. You know, they're always competitive. Is it greens or I've never played down there?
Well, they've got 2 grass, 1 synthetic.
Okay. Yeah.
Unless they've changed it in the last 12 months, but I'm pretty sure that
I've
it's
never been down there.
2 grass. And the big one you've got to worry about there is snakes up from the river. So
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, across the greens.
Home ground advantage right there.
They obviously got to be around the mark, aren't they?
Yeah. Yep. Obviously, we didn't quite get a report from them as such, but I know that Liv and Brad are working through that as we speak. I dare say they might provide a little bit just as the season rolls around to week 1, but we'll go from there. And the last one in Division 1 is Henley. I did reach out to Buddha, a little bit busy with a few things. Wasn't 100% sure on who they had in and who they had out. They were doing some trials. So Henley may have lost a couple as well. I know that they lost James Bodner, obviously, to Adelaide. Sheridan obviously went the year before. So, they're always sort of plucky and around the mark.
Funny little greens down there, isn't it? A bit shorter.
Yep.
And
it just feels claustrophobic.
Yeah, it does. It does. Always hard at home to play.
Yep.
But they're always around the mark.
Yep.
The Miller boys and Marshy and good side.
Yeah, absolutely. So best of luck there to Henley for the start of the season. Now, let's talk about some of the games for round 1. Now, obviously, with Division 1 and Premier splitting up their round because of the Nationals and player availability because of that. We've picked our game of the round, but we'll go through some of the other games that will be played, obviously, over the next few days, and that is Henley and Tranmere. Here's your tip, mate.
I go Henley. It's obviously at Henley.
It is at Henley.
I'll go Henley at home.
I'm going to go Henley there myself, and the other game that's being played is Toorak and Somerton. Now, Somerton obviously coming up. Prem Div 1, pretty solid.
Not too sure. We haven't seen what Somerton have gained in that top Premier League.
Yep.
Which then supports the Div 1. So I'm going to go Somerton, I think.
I'm going to go Somerton there myself. And our game of the round is Woodville v Millswood. We don't have any teams yet. It's a little hard to see who's, skippering, who's leading, who's the new ins, who's the new outs. But we'll obviously do that as the season goes on. Team coming down from Premier League in Woodville and a team coming up from Div 2 to Div 1 in Millswood. What do you expect, mate? There's
a lot of ins for Woodville, but we didn't know a lot of the names. But I think at home, I'm going to lean towards Woodville.
Yep.
But I wouldn't be surprised Mills would get over them. Strong side and, as you said, good culture at the club. And that, you're all happy playing with each other and you play better bowls, don't you? So
makes a big difference.
But I'll go for Woodville.
I'm going to go for Woodville there only simply for the home ground advantage. So, best of luck to the teams playing, obviously, on Saturday. The 2 teams that are obviously put off to the following Friday night, and we might cover this a little bit more, is Payneham and Marion. Again, a team that probably wanted to go back up to to the Premier League last year in Marion, and Payneham coming down. So some interesting byplay there, and I think Marion will go all right there, but we'll talk about that obviously a little bit next week. I think the round 1 teams actually have to be submitted, so we'll actually know who's in those. Yeah, exactly right. And the other one is Modbury v Port Noarlunga. See, for me, that would have been game of the round, but because it's being put off by a week, we might hold it over till next week.
I'll probably go Modbury.
Yep.
I think I'll go Modbury. Obviously at home, so whether they play on the carpet or the green,
this is the advantage, isn't it? That if you do have both surfaces, you get to pick and choose depending on your opposition at times.
I think I'll go Modbury.
Might go Modbury there as well. All right, mate, let's move on to the Premier League. Let's talk about Grange.
Yeah, they got a couple ins. One bloke I know pretty well, Mark Bowman.
Yep.
Yeah, good bowler. He skipped at Payneham the last couple of years.
Yep.
He's gone over. And Roy Palmer, I see old Roy.
Yeah.
Roy the boy.
Moved from West Lakes.
Yeah.
We'll talk about West Lakes in a minute, but that's some pretty handy ins. Obviously, Wayne Rudiker providing a report there, sort of saying that, they felt like they were around the mark last year, but finishing 4th, I think it was a bit of a surprise to them, but a welcome surprise. So the benchmark's been set for this year.
Yeah, and it looks like lost 3, Bandic to Woodville, Prommy's overseas, and Barrega.
Yep.
He's
Yep,
got
Simon.
family. Yeah,
Yep.
Simon. He's got family commitments,
Yep.
so which is fair enough.
Yep.
Family comes first. So.
You'd expect Promi to come back probably at some stage through the
Yeah.
season, so that's a handy little in when
Good
they
lead.
need it, exactly. And also, Grange have got this culture down there that they just continue to provide players, and they play their role really, really well.
Yep. And on their greens, they're very good. I mean, Rudy,
Well,
he creates a great green, doesn't he?
He does.
You know, so.
They run super fast. I know last time I played there, it was lightning. But that is that home ground advantage, and it's always nice down at Grange
beautiful.
there. Yeah. Hopefully they get to take those greens with them when they potentially merge.
Yeah.
Well, not merge with Lockleys, but
Yeah,
they
go
go to the one facility. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but we better move on. West Lakes.
West Lakes, I haven't got much on them. Pete.
No, but talking with Brad and Liv a little bit over the last month or two, looks like they've recruited a couple just to sort of tidy up a few loose ends. Chris Flavel and Rob Flavel from
Two
Lockleys,
handy
two very handy ends.
Yep, played with Chris obviously at Paynham.
Yep, as
you-
I did.
yeah, you
I
did,
led for him. Yep.
Yeah, so very handy bowler. And of course, Dad, well, he's been down here for years. How he drives it from Perry all the time, I'm not too sure. I think he stays down. But, it's a credit to him to so long travelling that far.
Yep.
But, two handy ends. Obviously, they've lost Roy.
Yes.
Roy the boy.
Yep, and that was a last minute in for Rob Flavel. They weren't 100% sure as to whether he might go back home.
Yep.
Or he might stay at Lockleys. And then obviously followed
son.
Chris.
Yep,
yeah,
Chris.
which is totally fair enough. What do we see with West Lakes this year? Obviously, runners up last year. Surprised to a couple, but again, that team culture, they've always been pretty solid.
I agree.
West Lakes.
Lucky enough to play against them a couple of times last year in the Prems, and we actually beat them and lost by, I think, 1 or 2 shots the other game. But one of the few teams sort of to beat them. They're ultra competitive, so...
maybe that was the kick in the bum they needed to get going.
I mean, a couple good ins and only a loss or two.
Yep.
They've got to be up there again.
Yep, absolutely. And we move on to Somerton, obviously premiers from last year in the Premier League. And 3 years ago, they recruited very, very well, and they've kept that same group together pretty much for the last 3 years, and it's held them in good stead.
Have you got anything on them?
I spoke with Scotty Colville, kept saying,
Scooter.
we're trying to get information because of Prem and Div 1. There was a lot of competition, obviously, for spots and players coming in, complement their sort of Div 1 side, complement, obviously, their Premier League side, which is a scary thought when you think about it. So I didn't get a full report from Scotty, but it was all pretty positive down there with the Seagulls or the Gulls.
Yep.
But again, nice greens down there. Always like the trip down to Somerton.
Oh, yeah, it's a beautiful spot. And I can see them being in top 2, top 3, that's for sure.
Yep. Early season predictions before we get on to the tips. Maybe your top 4 for Premier League?
Oh, Somerton got to be up there.
Yep.
Adelaide got to be up there. Probably West Lakes, I'd say.
Yep.
And probably maybe Grange, I reckon, could be.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go slightly different. I'm going to go Somerton, yes. I'm going to go Adelaide in the top 4. I don't know whether they're going to be second. I know they've recruited very, very well, but as we've got coming up later on, we've got our interview with Blackie. Did mention that he's going to be on the move a little bit. So he won't be there the entire time. So that's a little bit of an out for them occasionally, but they will be in that top 4. I totally agree. Ascot for me, I think is going to be the big improver.
Them. Sorry,
no, that's okay.
Yeah, they're
going to be the big improver.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I think West Lakes are going to back up now that they've just topped up. After that,
Grange, and there's going to be a big heat in the middle there.
Yeah, exactly right. I'd say that Modbury would be in that range. Grange will be in that range. I reckon Hawthorn will probably be in that range. And then after that, you sort of get that third tier of.
See, Adelaide might.
Maybe
I shouldn't say
hold
that,
fast.
Yeah, I mean, Adelaide could struggle because that big influx of players can upset the apple cart a little bit, and
for 12 months.
Yeah, who knows?
A lot of good youth
Time
there.
will tell.
A lot of good youth there as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously, very, very important. I know that they did. Scotty did message me saying that they did have a laid out in Reese.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure whether that's for family, for work. Going home. I'm not 100% sure on that. So yeah, that leaves a little bit of
Okay.
a hole there,
Yeah.
but they've obviously got some pretty good players on the way.
Absolutely.
All right, mate. Obviously, again, like we said with the Division 1 games being split over 2 rounds or 2 weeks.
Yep.
On this occasion, there is only one game being played on this Saturday, and that happens to be our game of the round, and that's Club Holdfast v Salisbury, a team that's obviously come up from Division 1 last year in Salisbury, so they'll be looking for a pretty strong showing. And Holdfast lost a couple, but they've still got a lot of quality there.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing.
They batted pretty deep, didn't they? Their Div 2, their second side, I should say. I don't know if it's a Div 2, but they were pretty strong. Yep. And so it gives them, somebody down there, a bit of a chance to come up. I'd tip Holdy in that.
I'm going to tip Holdy on that. Yep. Again, home ground advantage, I think early in the season's a big advantage. But I can't believe how well the Greens are running at the moment. Wherever you go, they're running.
I was out at Walkerville today. It's lightning and beautiful,
and we're in October. Mid-October. All right, and a couple of other matches there being played next Friday night. Somerton v Modbury. That's a bit of a juicy clash.
I'd go Somerton.
I'm going to go Somerton there.
Yep.
West Lakes v Ascot.
Ascot.
At West Lakes.
Yep, I'll tip Ascot.
I'm going to go Ascot there as well, but in a very tight match.
We haven't tipped one different, have we, Pete?
No, we haven't. We'll have to play it back to formalise this to make sure we've got it right. Hawthorn v Adelaide.
Oh, Adelaide for me.
That's a
Sorry,
juicy
Pete.
one. No, that's okay.
You can't tip against your home club, can you?
No, I think Hawthorn at home.
Hawthorn at home, okay.
Yep, for me. But again, in a very tight tussle.
Yep.
I think it's a good opportunity that Hawthorn might actually get Adelaide at the right time of year, if that makes sense.
I mean, just settling the side and, Yep.
And to finish us off, Grange v Lockleys at Grange.
Oh, it's got to be Grange.
I'm going to go the home ground there.
A lot of
well.
outs for Lockleys.
Yep, absolutely. All right, mate, let's quickly take a look at some hot shots.
Just willing it out. It's not far away.
Very close here.
He's played a whopper.
He's played
Great
it forever.
shot. Great ball.
I think it might be 3 shots, I think.
He's having a little poke at this. He gets past, he gets that jack. He's willing it. It's a great bowl. That's a jog. He loves the the action, getting involved, and why wouldn't you with a shot like that? Ripper. Absolutely perfect.
He doesn't mind it. Wow, what a shot from...
Oh, centimetre perfect. He loves it.
All right, mate, we move on to around the regions. But before we do that, thanks to Bowls SA for providing us a little bit of footage there for the hot shots from the Super League, that was played a couple of years ago. We've found some hot shots and some footage. We'll obviously bring that to everybody over the next sort of 20 weeks. I reckon I'm on one of them in the final.
Unfortunately, got that good shot.
That one good shot, exactly right. Corey got me. He played brilliantly that day, and I provided one good shot. You're right. He provided about 20, so him and Grace were on fire. But mate, let's move on to around the regions. Before we start with the Barossa and Light, because I know you've got a little bit of there. We're going to shout out to everybody again from the regions. Let us know anything that's going on within the regions. I know as we sort of talk a little bit later on with some of the tournaments going on, we did make a bit of a focus of the regions this week. So over to you, mate. Let's talk about the Barossa and Light Association.
Thanks, Pete. Look, I'll just quickly run through. I've got a few more ins that I wasn't aware of last week. So I'll just quickly go Tanunda. They got young Nick Schmidt's come back. I think he's living down Adelaide at the moment, but he's gone good mates with Brad Peck, so he's gone back to Tanunda as well.
Yes.
As well as the other three they put in last week with Brad Peck, Greg Cookshank, and Kevin Absalom.
Yep.
So Mount Pleasant, I didn't know much about. The team's not up, so I can't really make anything up there. So I see Nuriupta, another usually a very strong side up there in the Barossa. Damien Langley's come back, which is son of Jeff Guru. Stewie Allen from he had a back injury like yourself, Pete, or similar to yourself.
Yes.
And it looks like Brian Caddy, he's been around the club there for many moons. He lives downtown here.
Yes.
I reckon it could be his first match, and he's not a young chap. I don't know. I won't guess his age,
Yes.
but I'm not very good at that.
Save that to other people, yes.
Quickly, Yadunda, I saw their side up. Ian Griffiths is a name that I hadn't seen at Yadunda before. Terry Curtis, which is Turtle Curtis, he's come across from Freeling.
Yep.
Desi Schiller, he played, lived in Yadunda all his life and retired down at Tanunda. He's gone back, obviously, for their centenary year.
Yes.
Andrew Swain, been around the traps a bit. Tanunda, went to Angaston, couldn't quite crack their top side up there. He's gone over to Yadunda. And obviously Jimmy Marder, as I said last week. Quickly, I'll go on to Angaston. Graham Miller's the only name that I can see as in, and I chased him up. Younger guy, played in the lower divisions, getting a go at Angaston this year. A couple of admissions I noticed on Kapundas is obviously no greens. They're all in Queensland, family holiday with Jaden and Kat and them playing up there.
Yes.
So,
although it's not sunny up there at the moment. I don't know if
No,
you saw the rain. The rain online today. It was 2 inches deep, and swimming pool bowls were actually halfway submerged.
Yeah, that's unbelievable, isn't it?
Your skip would be complaining if you were long on that type of.
So they're looking a bit depleted. So that's what I did tip Lindok to beat them at home. And Lindok pretty well much of a muchness. There wasn't any real new names going in there other than Chris Rule, and I see he's starting in the second side this week. So quickly, Pete, while I've got it there, I've got a couple tournaments. Di Jones Memorial Ladies Fours at Lindok.
Yes.
November the 11th, 9:30 to 10 o'clock start. Just contact the club if you're interested there. Freeling got an open fours on November the 10th. Again, 9:30 for 10 o'clock start. Contact the club there. Angaston got a Yalumba Day.
You've taken my. You read it, mate. You read it.
3rd of November.
Yep.
9:30 for 10 o'clock start. It's a bit different format, I see, Pete.
Yes.
You might be able to.
I think it was a 3-bowl pairs.
Yeah, something a little bit different than the normal Yalumba Day.
Yes.
I did mention this one last week, but I'll say it for Brownie again this week. 24th of November, Newry, again 9:30 for 10 o'clock start. And one thing I'm going to plug, Pete, and I might pick you up one night. We'll head up there for tea on a Friday night.
Yep.
Angaston Bowling Club.
Yes.
I think it's every fortnight. It's October the 11th, the next tea, $20 per person.
Yep.
Couple course meal.
Brilliant.
I think you can ring this number if you're interested. 0438 863 107 is the number to ring. Or ring the Angaston Bowling Club. But and I know Lindok do it too, and they're struggling a bit with the new development down there at Lindok.
Yes.
So they can't always have their teas at the club if the oval's shut off. So they're struggling a bit. So support both those clubs.
Absolutely.
And we'll try and do a show up there if we get the invite.
Absolutely. We might need to take a tent and get
I've got a
permits.
swag.
Get permits to play up there, because the schnitzel or the meal that we'll get.
Yeah.
We won't be able
We'll
to.
be rolling out.
Exactly right. So we'll basically need to stay up there for the weekend, I reckon. Sounds like a plan. Excellent, mate. Thank you very much for providing that. All right, mate. Let's take a very, very quick break.
Liking this podcast? Please like, rate, and subscribe.
All right, mate, we're going to whiz through the state events. Obviously, coming up, we've got the state triples. We did promote the mixed pairs, which is now closed. But obviously, the state triples, if you haven't got your entries in, by all means, get them in. Entries close on the 13th of October, which is this Sunday. So make sure you do that, and we'll go through a few entries over the next couple of weeks, mate. All right, let's move on.
Players interview.
All right, on the 22nd in this week, as promised last week, Nathan Black was good enough to give us his time, and once again, we thank Blackie for his time. Sit back and enjoy his interview. Welcome to the 22nd end. Our first special guest is Nathan Black from the Adelaide Bowling Club. Blackie, obviously world under-25 singles champion, Australian Jackaroo, 2023 world under-25 indoor champion, singles gold, and under-25 indoor champion mixed pairs bronze, representing obviously the SA men's stateside, and we'll talk about that as we go along. 2020 BPL Cup champions there with West Lakes. Under 18 state singles champion, 18, 19, 20 and 21. So pretty fair effort there. And four under 18 state titles, pairs and triples. And I reckon we should add the mixed pairs from last year to that list. Welcome along, Blackie.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's a pleasure to be on board and have a chat.
Blackie, what haven't you won? We should have just said what you haven't won. That's probably would have cut the time down a bit.
Oh no, there's still plenty on.
Plenty to go. You there?
Yep.
Yeah, still here.
Yeah, sorry, mate. So where did the bowl start for you? I know you're up Peary Way, but you're further out than that, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm from a little farm town at Kowtowie, which is about 10 minutes, 20 minutes away from Jamestown and about 10 minutes away from Gladstone. So just in the middle there.
Okay. Wow. I mean, it's a
fair
long
hike.
Yeah, fair hike out. I mean, Peary's far enough.
Yeah.
What about work? I know you play bowls most of the time.
Yeah. So my work's very good with me in allowing time off. So I'm actually a fourth year Boilermaker apprentice. So get signed off at the start of the next year. So looking forward to that.
Very good. You wouldn't spend much time there though, would you?
No, sometimes I do get the old, it's good to see you back. And yeah,
Yeah, it'd be a bit like that because every time I see you on YouTube somewhere playing bowls or winning a tournament somewhere, and Dubbo was the latest I saw, so big win over there.
That was worked out a very good trip for me. I was actually just a late call-in sub, so it worked out very well.
Not a bad call-in sub, anyhow.
Absolutely.
I'll get your phone number after we finish. So.
Mate, let's talk obviously a little bit. You obviously started out in the country there. What prompted you to come down to the city and obviously I'm assuming identified through the Bowls SA talent pathways?
I guess it's just all about obviously coming from a small country town where I'm from. It's pretty hard to, sort of expose yourself in the country. So it's just, pretty well to get a little bit more exposure and obviously playing in Premier League itself.
And obviously, was West Lakes the first point of call, or was there a couple of other clubs that you had opportunity to maybe play at?
So I actually started my first season in Metro was at Marion. So I guess that was sort of a loophole within the round robins and stuff, playing round robin there, and a few of the Marion boys got onto me, and so that's how
Kenny Hotham
I made the move to there.
Kenny Hotham and Tonks probably, or somebody like that, I'd say.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Old stalwarts of Marion there. And then obviously progressing through, then ended up at West Lakes, and Craig Mills obviously took you under his wing.
Yeah, so obviously probably a fair few years now, Craig sort of took me under his wing. He sort of let me go. I've sort of, let each other go by ourselves the last couple of years. But, for that 3-year stint, he was awesome with me and developing my game. So, he's been awesome.
Not a bad mentor there.
Yep, he's a good man.
Absolutely, mate. What sort of attracted you to bowls? Obviously, you started at such a young age. What sort of attracted you to bowls? Was it family? Because that seems to be the common theme when you talk to a few people around the table.
I was. I wasn't. I sort of had a few roles with Dad, but then they were short one weekend and filled in. Dad goes, "Oh, you'll come and fill in for us, won't you?" And I sort of went, "Oh." And then I'll be all done and dusted and out of this bloody sport. But
The bug did the bug
14
bite?
years later, and I'm still playing. So
And they're still probably short, and you'd be filling in anyhow. So it's you come down to town.
yeah.
What about footy? Do you play any footy up there, or?
Yeah, obviously don't really sort of get a lot of spare time within my bowls calendar, but yeah, I play a couple games for my home club here at Southern Flinders. So
Oh yeah, yep.
obviously there's a few other ex-state boys from here, Maxi Kleinick and those sort of boys.
Maxie would be full forward, wouldn't he? He wouldn't run out the square too far.
Mate, obviously practice is very, very important, and obviously we're hoping to attract some youth to the game. How many for yourself? How many times a week are you putting a few bowls down as far as practice go? And I'm assuming it'd probably be a little bit more because you are in the Jackaroo squad.
Yeah, no, I'm certainly sort of probably 3 times a week, and obviously like more obviously coming from the country. Usually a Tuesday arvo, Thursday arvo, and then when I get back down to Adelaide, having a roll at my home club. So yeah, lots of practice on the green.
Young brother, what's he up to these days?
He's sort of taken a little break away. He fills in every now and then, but yeah, he's not exactly locked up yet.
Okay, is he downtown still, or is he back home?
He's been a bit of both. He played a couple games for Holdfast Bay last year, filling in when I was out. But
yeah, because he was
what he's doing.
played against you boys a couple times. He's very promising. So yeah,
Mate. You obviously moved from Holdfast last year to Adelaide this year. Obviously, the chance to work with Scotty Tholburn and a few of the juniors there, mate, was too tempting not to do.
Yeah, no, that's right. Obviously, with my commitments I've got within the Victorian Premier League with my club in Yarraville, sort of, yeah, making the move to Adelaide allows me to, get more exposure and focus on my Victorian pennant a lot, and then obviously plan for Adelaide on the games that I am available back here.
So how does that work, Blackie? You fly out when to go and play? Because I watch you quite often on a Friday night there. It's quite good to watch. When do you fly out and fly back? How does that all come about?
Yeah, so depending on the draws, either a Friday arvo or a Saturday morning. So lots of red eye flights. And,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big call, isn't it? Yeah.
Big commitment.
Wow.
Mate, let's get on to your playing career a little bit. Obviously, of late, what's your biggest career highlight? Because obviously we read out quite a few at the beginning, but there's probably one that stands out a little bit more than others.
It'd be pretty hard to turn my head away from the World Under 25s. Obviously, the other last December, it'd be pretty hard to turn away from that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fair call.
Yeah, fair enough. And look, just a couple of little quick questions here to finish us off. What's your favourite part about bowls?
I think it's obviously, a lot of the people you meet. Like, there's not many people that you go away against or travel away, and not many people that you meet that aren't good people. So, no, it's all about, traveling around, meeting good people, and, making lots of new friends.
Absolutely. And one thing you could improve about the game, what would you like to see the bowls game change that could improve it?
I'd probably say, I think what they're sort of moving into within our BPLs and UBCs, I think is awesome for the game. The shorter format, and I think shorter format and quick play, I think certainly promoting the sport a lot more.
That 2020 style bowls does become very attractive, especially from a viewing point of view. You can watch for half an hour, 45 minutes, and it's on to the next game, which is really, really good.
Look at cricket.
Yeah, a little bit like cricket. Mate, considering this is our first interview, mate, thank you for joining us. But we're going to finish off each interview with a fast five. Mate, answer this any way you like, but we'll go through each of the questions and let us know your answers here. But who was your childhood idol from any sport?
Roger Federer.
Roger
Good
Federer.
call.
Very good
Yep.
call. Which team do you support? Any sport? Football, soccer, basketball, gridiron, American footy, whatever.
The Western Bulldogs.
Western Bulldogs.
Okay.
There you go. That's probably why you're playing at the Bulldogs there in Victoria. Do you have a favourite pre-match song?
Oh, nah, not really. No pre-match songs really.
No problem. That's all right. Favourite movie? Favourite all-time movie? Any genre?
I guess I'm a country boy, so I have to go with Red Dog.
Oh, yeah.
That's a nice
Bad
little left
seen it a
field
few
there.
times.
And last one, mate. If they were to make a movie about you, who is playing you? Which actor?
Oh,
We leave the tough one to last.
that's a very tough one. No, I'm not really sure about that one.
Maybe we'll open it up to
I'll
the.
have to hand over that one to you boys, I reckon.
No, that's right. Maybe we'll open it up to the listeners and see if they come up with a few little hints along the way. But, mate, thank you very much for joining us here on the 22nd End, Players End. First interview, obviously, for the new podcast here, and we're thrilled to have you, mate, and wish you the best of the luck, not only for your Victorian pennant season, but obviously what happens back here in Adelaide as well.
Thanks, Blackie. All the best.
Yeah, thank you. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Liking this podcast? Please like, rate, and subscribe.
All right, mate, we finish off. We're going to whiz through the extra ends tonight. You've already mentioned the the Anguston Yalumba fours. I'm just going to add one to that list, which was the Anguston men's fours. 23rd of October, 9:30 for a 10 a.m. start. 2 games of 13 ends, club uniform to be worn. So if you're looking for a game, get out there and get your men's fours group together, or open fours in this occasion for Yalumba at Anguston there. That'd be a good tournament. I wouldn't mind doing that. All right, let's move on to BPL. Obviously, we talked about BPL Cup last week, but we're going to talk a little bit more about BPL. Adelaide Pioneers, their draw has been released. So we've got our first day's play, and they play the Perth Suns first game up. Pretty tough opposition, Perth.
Yeah. Adelaide always line up all right, though, don't they? I mean, they always probably bat higher than they should.
Yes.
Yeah, always around the mark, aren't they? Competitive.
Been the bridesmaid 4 or 5 times now, so
exactly.
maybe this might be their opportunity. Laney coming
Laney.
in. Hey,
Yep.
Change might actually work. Game 2 is going to be live streamed on Bowls Australia's, I would assume, YouTube channel. Facebook's a bit funny at the moment with live streaming, but so we'll definitely say that it'll be on YouTube because that's where it is most of the time. 2:15, they play the Sydney Saints. Now, the Sydney Saints are a new team this year.
Oh, wow.
So there's a couple of new teams that are coming.
Blackie's in one of those, isn't he?
He is in the Sydney Lions.
Sorry, I threw that on you. You
Yep.
weren't ready for that one?
No.
Yeah, don't know much about the Saints, I got to admit, but yeah, I love it. I love watching it. So, yeah.
And like we talked about with Blackie, you know, those quick 45-minute games
absolutely.
change, you know, and you get a different look at it. So absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
Round 3, they play the Melbourne Extreme. Round 4, the Gold Coast Hawks. Round 5, they play the Geelong Jets, who is another new team that has come into
those. Yeah. Okay.
So going from an 8-team format to a 10-team format.
Okay.
It looks like they're playing a few more games on day 1 and then obviously extending that little bit more. So should be interesting and really looking forward to. We'll talk about the next couple of rounds over the next couple of weeks building up to, I think it's the 11th of November.
Yep.
So we've got a couple of weeks there to sort of get going.
Yep.
All right, mate, let's move on. The Nationals, the state men's team hadn't really been announced last week, but we do need to send an apology to the mayor of Nurayupta in Stewie Forbes. We had him in the squad, but he's actually in the team.
Yeah,
he's leading.
There you go.
He's who's he leading for? He's leading for Wayne Rudiker. So pretty handy rink.
Oh, yeah. Stewie leading, it's a handy rink.
Absolutely. So you've got Will McFarlane, Isaac Trenorden, Jono Voigt. We'll talk about Jono in a little bit in a minute, and Nathan Black, who was obviously our special guest today. Stewie, Ben Bowman, Brett Davis, and Wayne Rudiker. And then you've got Sam Denton making his debut, obviously in the State Men's Open side. Spoke with him a couple of days ago, sort of relieved, that all the hard work sort of paid off. So really well done there. Corey Hicks making the transition from juniors to seniors. Mitch Percy, always around the mark.
Always there.
And Scotty Thorburn. So pretty handy rink there and managed by Andrew Smith and Timmy Hicks. So the Brains Trust is there.
You would think they'd do all right, wouldn't you?
If any one of these boys pull out, the coaches and team managers could stand in.
Yeah, Smithy, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Champion of Champions singles going on up at the on the Gold Coast at the moment, or being played at Tweed Heads. We did mention before it's underwater at the moment.
Sure is.
But they do have the luxury of that
Going
nice little indoor green there. John O'Voigt was obviously the representative from South Australia in the Champion of Champions. Round one, he lost 21-18 to Tristan Smallcombe from Northern Territory, which was a really, really good effort. I'm pretty sure he had a bye in the second round. In the third round, he ended up having a win, 21-19, against Mason Lewis from New South Wales. Okay. So not too bad. And then I reckon round four might have been rained out because looking at the wins and losses, obviously there are 4 played, one win, 2 losses at this stage. So
I've got a feeling his first game was started outside and went indoors.
Right.
I got a feeling I saw something.
That's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. Yep. So obviously with the rain that's obviously happened over the last day or so, that it might just change the playing conditions as far as days go, which will probably lead into the Nationals and when they play as well. All right, let's move on to the women's side of things. Now, Karen Gatto from West Lakes, obviously getting off to a fantastic start in round number 1 against the NT, 21-18 up.
Okay.
But the big one for Karen was in round 2. She gets up 21-20 against Christina Christic from WA.
Wow. It's a very good win.
Absolutely. Holds her in good stead there.
So 2 from 2?
2 from 2. And in her third game, unfortunately going down to Dawn Heyman. Very handy player, Dawn Heyman from New South Wales, 21-12. So, but a couple of good wins there to kick off her Nationals campaign.
Absolutely.
So congratulations go to Karen there. All right, let's finish off, mate. A couple of general questions or some hot topics. Go in any direction you want to go with this one. But should prize money be divided equally based upon entries for state events, or should it be through the sponsors and equally? That's it.
Equally.
What are your thoughts?
I'd say equally.
Yep, so through the sponsors rather than if they get 250 entries, whatever the money is divided by...
Yep, no. Oh, that's
sponsor
my
tips
opinion.
in $1,000, 500 for the winner, or 400 for the winner, and so on and so on and so on. Yep, no, I totally agree. And the last one, mate, would midweek bowls be open to timing changes? Maybe later in the day, maybe twilight. What are your thoughts, mate?
I like it. I'd like it earlier in the day, to be honest. Enjoy my midweek. I like my midweek. Now I'm retired.
Yep.
But I'd be happy going earlier.
Yep.
Yeah.
Could going later, though, help some of the younger guys, work in the morning, finish mid-afternoon to lift the standard of competition? I mean, the standard's pretty good, don't get me wrong.
You got to keep in mind us old guys need an afternoon nap.
Well, that's what the halftime break's for, isn't it? The 6 o'clock dinner, maybe?
They have trouble waking me up some days.
Fair enough. All right, mate, we better wind up there. What we're going to do with Nathan Black's interview is we're actually going to play that completely separate to our normal episode, but keep an eye out for that one there, and we'll schedule it in. We might actually add it to this. So we thank Nathan Black for coming out today, for jumping on the line today with us. We're going to play that, obviously, as part of this interview here, and absolutely loved having Blackie on board and look forward to our next guest. I'm still teeing that up as we speak, so I can't tease who it might be, but I've got a list of a few people that we'd really like to talk to, but it was fantastic having Blackie on. Mate, I thank you for coming again tonight, and a sign-off. Let's keep it rolling, guys. Let's keep it rolling.
What was our motto last week?
We got to do better than what we did last time, so I reckon we got to do that as well. Thank you, guys.